Isaiah. When Elijah woke up, it took him a few moments to remember where he was. He sat up abruptly. He had dreamed of flying canoes and free-falling bald eagles. The elder, my beautiful elder. The memory of the previous night came to him all in a flash. The elder standing at the edge of a lake. The digging. The lying down. His last look. Elijah's getting on his knees and burying the elder with his bare hands. His covering of the elder with Enoch tree branches. His lying down beside him, flat on his back, arms crossed, staring at the stars, falling asleep to the words repeated over and over. Miigwech, chief. Miigwech. Elijah now lifted up his hands and saw that earth covered them. Less than a year ago, he had buried his sweet Esther with his bare hands. Esther, please take the time to show Chief around heaven. I don't really understand how time works where you are, but enjoy your time with him. He's really, really special. To be honest, he's taught me a lot, but now I have to take it all in. I am kind of feeling a little lost now. Do I stay here? Do I go back to the reserve? Do I go back to Ottawa? I know, you guys are probably having a party without me. Well, I won't keep you for too long, but I would love if you could ask the beloved to direct my path. I am his. Miigwech. +++. Elijah trekked back to the campsite, still barefoot, still painful. He wondered how anyone in the community would find out about their dear Chief Billy. Then he understood the chief's plan. He only told Pete, and Pete would let the community know. That made sense with the chief's character. In his deep humility, he probably didn't want to trouble anyone with a funeral or anything of the sort. He wanted to return to Earth to Earth. And yet, he really was so much more than Earth. Oh, what was the word for humility again? All I remember is Zagedwin and Miigwech. What was the word? This prompted Elijah to sit down and reflect on all that the chief had taught him. He taught him how to recognize his createdness. He taught him about the 7 grandfathers. He taught him about Thanksgiving, seeing life from the perspective of Earth, as the receiver, thankful for everything. As Elijah sat remembering, contemplating and pondering all these things, he had a moment of epiphany. Though the elder was teaching me about becoming Earth, he was so much more than Earth. Becoming Earth can't be the end goal. It is actually only the starting point. This one thought had such an effect on Elijah's soul. Up until this moment, because of his great love for his Esther, he had made his life goal to become Earth. And yet, the beautiful elder was so much more than Earth. His voice was ringing in his heart. You see, Elijah, Earth doesn't have anything of its own. It offers nothing. Earth is the great receiver of everything. Earth receives the seeds. Earth receives the water. Earth receives the heat and light from the sun. Earth receives the oxygen it needs. Earth is nothing on its own. Earth receives. Becoming Earth is just the beginning, of course. Earth is just the beginning. With his newfound discovery, he found himself so excited and zealous at beginning his new journey. He had been in the negative and was moving closer to zero. Earth was not the goal, just the beginning. He got into Greg, drove one more time through the old reserve. He paid homage to all the lives that had once lived on that sacred land. He loved the people of his beloved chief. He loved his soft people. He knew that the gift that the elder gave him was far greater than the teachings, or his words. It was himself. He was good Earth, bearing fruit. It was so fitting that Chief Billy be buried by the lake, for it was Earth, covered with water, bearing life in its center, a tree of life across. Elijah got back on the dirt road. Farewell, my beautiful elder. Thank you for everything. This time, the only stops he took were for gas. He was a man on a mission. He knew where he needed to go, kind of. The Great Spirit knew, and that was enough for him. +++. Elijah drove for 15 hours straight until he arrived to the big city. The moment he hit the 3 lanes of Highway 400, which quickly turned to 6 lanes, he was completely and utterly hit by culture shock. He thought of how beautiful the forest had been, how beautiful the lake had been, and now there were lines everywhere. Signs shouting commands at you. One way. Exit here. McDonald's 2 kilometers away. Yield. Consume this. Watch that. Beware of this. Do that. Although Elijah had only left Ottawa a little less than a week ago, he felt like he was completely disconnected from city life. Then there was the madness of the dreaded Highway 401. That's right, the 401. 16 lanes of human madness. 8 lanes going east, 8 going west. For express, for collector. Humans were not meant for this. How can one become Earth here? My sweet Elijah, Esther responded, though the question was not directed to her. Earth is a matter of the heart. The beloved has found good soil in the hearts of men and women even here. Elijah tried to keep focused on the road. He needed to take Highway 401 west, then follow the signs for the airport. This took him to Highway 427 north. He guessed Terminal 1. He parked Greg, said thank you to Greg. Actually, he said miigwechto Greg. Greg was unaffected by Elijah's gratitude. He entered the airport. He was determined to take the next step. And in order for him to take the next step, he needed to return from his exile. He needed to go back to the motherland, that's right. Elijah was going to Egypt. He needed to find Uncle Ansi. Now, to an untrained eye, these may seem like simple airline and airport codes. But to the many who have experienced these exact codes, or their variants know they know. Oh, do they ever know that MS stands for Egypt Air? The year was 2002. Every time one of their planes landed, everyone clapped. Everyone. A nervous and thankful clap. Whether they crossed an ocean, a desert, a city, or a pond. Everyone clapped. Egypt Air dramatically improved in later years. To Elijah, though, the flight felt extravagantly luxurious. His body and mind had forgotten comfort. Somehow, to him, it was not comforting. All he could think of was water faucets, and how dangerous they were to humanity. Elijah had never been to Egypt. Never. He could not be ready for what he was about to experience. Heat. Heat plus dust. Heat plus dust plus pollution. Elijah's Canadianized Egyptian lungs were not ready for it. When the doors of the air-conditioned plane opened, Elijah gasped. He couldn't breathe. It felt like an elephant sat on his face. Is this what asthma feels like? Lord have mercy. I am. Elijah deplaned. Went through security. Elijah had purchased a visiting visa right when he had arrived to the Cairo airport. The border officer didn't ask him any questions. He had a pad and pen ready if he did. With his backpack on his back, he stepped out of the airport. There was again the elephant. The heat felt oppressive to him. It was only June. He had no idea. And yet, something in Elijah's veins was activated. A sense of belonging. A sense of being alive. He looked around, and everyone looked like an uncle or a tante from church. Now, obviously, as he would discover, the majority of the people around him wouldn't set foot in a church. But the familiarity was magical. He quickly got used to the elephant. Master, O.M. Aldanya, I am so honored, my love, to be on the soil that carried both you and Mama at different times, obviously. Elijah took it all in. He was in Egypt. The taxi cars, the palm trees, the different color of the sky, the smell of gasoline, the people asking to help, the people selling things, the soldiers with their rifles just hanging on their shoulders like they were water guns, the honking, oh, the honking of cars, a never-ending symphony to bring harmony and order to the chaos of Egyptian driving. Elijah had no idea. Elijah decided that he wanted to go to Shobra first, before he went to Uncle Ansi. He figured he would take a pilgrimage to Esther's hometown before he set off to Amba Bola's monastery. So he walked up to the first taxi, showed him his notepad with the word Shobra. We're in Shobra. I know speaking Galish. It's okay. I don't speak at all. Elijah just pointed again to the word Shobra in the pad, and he jumped into the car. And then it happened. Elijah experienced his first car ride in Egypt. There is no way to describe the dynamics of driving in Egypt. Elijah noticed that every time he would have pressed on the brakes, the taxi driver simply honked. He noticed that the lines drawn on the streets to mark the different lanes were simply there for decorations. For example, though Elijah didn't know this, the street he was currently on was called Salah Salem. It was a 3-lane road. In actuality, there were times where 5 cars were driving side by side along with a donkey pulling a cart and a motorcycle systematically weaving through all of them. Green meant go. Yellow meant go. Red meant go. Elijah was fascinated. The taxi driver seemed to get a kick out of Elijah's reactions to the driving. As an experienced taxi driver, Atef took pride in his maneuvering and threading through the lanes. How is America? Elijah didn't answer. He just gave him a thumbs up. Atef laughed. He gave him a thumbs up too. Elijah noticed the tattooed Coptic cross on his strong, tanned and calloused hand. Elijah smiled. Both of Elijah's parents had tattooed Coptic crosses on their right wrists. It is important to note that for Coptic Christians, the tattoo was a major statement of faith. It was a declaration of their unchanging commitment to their beliefs. It was a, "We are not changing no matter what you might do to us." Often, a person would walk up to another person, shake hands and flip their hand over to look at their wrist and see if they were Christian or not. In response, Copts started placing the tattoo on the back of their hands in order to save the person in front of them the time of flipping their wrist over to find out their religion. One's religion was everything in Egypt. In fact, it was written on one's personal ID card. Well, Atef had a tattoo on his wrist and on the back of his hand. There was something about him that reminded Elijah of the chief, Atef. Many of his clients had come to love him and call him Baba Atef, and their children called him Jaido Atef. He had 6 kids, and his wife was very ill. He worked 15 to 17-hour days in order to provide for his family. He almost never worked on Sundays. He mostly drove privately for people, hired by the day. But for some reason, he was at the airport that morning. He had no idea how precious to heaven his current cargo was. Unknown to Elijah, God had orchestrated even this, his taxi driver. Atef was from Upper Egypt. Most Copts claim their ancestry from Upper Egypt. Like many, he left Upper Egypt, which is actually southern Egypt, and came to the big city to make a life for himself. Taxi drivers are necessary in a city of 12 million by night and 19 million by day. Commuting in Egypt was akin to some form of medieval idea of purgatory. Many modern saints were taught patience and dispassion on her roads. There was always an opportunity for humans to expand their hearts. Cairo's streets were master teachers of virtue if one chose to be taught. Atef was one of them. He was strong, but unmoved by the chaos of the roads. Elijah enjoyed his drive to Shobra. Everything was new and exciting. Fruit stands, architecture, signs. His favorite were the signs written in English. These signs were clearly written before Google Translate was ever a thing. Atef dropped Elijah at Warren Khaleesi. He figured that Elijah would walk down Shobra Street and figure things out on his own. Before Elijah paid Atef the 30 Egyptian pounds for the ride, he showed him his notepad. Elijah had drawn a monastery and wrote the words Amba Bola Monastery. You go see Abuna Phanes. You go see him. You have problem. You sick. Elijah had heard of Abuna Phanes from his mom. She had told him that there was a mystic whose hands light up at Amba Bola's monastery. Elijah quickly thanked God for this small mercy of connecting the dots for him. Elijah nodded his head vigorously and gave him a thumbs up. Atef burst out laughing and gave him a thumbs up. I go there. Sunday. You come. Free. I friend was Abuna Phanes. I friend. He pray for my wife. Sunday. 6 a.m. morning. I wait you here. Okay. Elijah scribbled a quick thank you. He almost wrote miigwech and drew a very big smiley face. He gave him another 12 thumbs up in his excitement. Atef exploded in laughter and drove off. It was a Thursday. He spent the following 3 days discovering Shobra. He walked down all the side roads. He wanted to make sure he visited all the possible streets that Esther had walked. He found Maluka's church. He guessed which was her apartment. He tried to imagine young Esther looking out of her window. Maluka smiled as he was doing his rounds when he noticed Elijah staring up. Elijah's guardian angel graciously nodded his head at his chief in command. Maluka graciously nodded back. He decided that this was where he would spend his nights, sleeping, leaning on the fence of Archangel Michael's church. He figured that it would be the safest. He discovered mangoes. He decided that he had never tasted a real mango before. The taste of a nice, juicy Alphonse mango was mind-boggling. He felt somewhat betrayed or cheated when thinking of the mangoes he ate back home in Canada. One could hardly call them mangoes. This was true of the majority of the fresh fruit he basically lived on. He also discovered sugarcane juice. He found it fascinating that people just drank out of the same cup. They hardly rinsed it in between. They didn't use disposable cups. They just drank from the same glass cup. This would not pass back home. Home. Where is home right now? What does home even mean? Esther. I officially don't have a home. I feel as poor as a sparrow and as free and cared for as a sparrow. Free he was. He walked the narrow side streets. He loved how cars were still somehow able to maneuver their way around seemingly impossible situations, while children, animals, bikes and scooters all pretended that the streets were solely theirs. Elijah became familiar with the different shops on the main street. His favorite place to frequent, though, were the Christian bookstores. He couldn't believe how everything religious could be all crammed into one bookstore. You name it, they had it. Keychains with saints' pictures? Check. Patriarch's outfit? Check. Incense? Check. Glow-in-the-dark statues of Mama? Check. He never knew how much religious paraphernalia one could own. A lot seemed to him to be the answer. His favorite time in Shobra was for sure between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. Those were the only 2 hours he had of solid sleep. Esther, I am so sure that you were sleep-deprived as a child. When do your people sleep? The streets are packed till 1 a.m. I just wanted to say, I miss you. It's kind of hard to be here without you. But it's all good. I just miss you sometimes. Okay. All the time. No point in pretending. It has been weird for me to go from the extreme serenity of the northern forests of Ontario to the liveliness of a major global metropolis. But my comfort is in knowing that tomorrow morning I will be making my way to Uncle Ansi. Can you please give him a heads up? Not sure if it works that way. Anyways, I'd better finish my evening prayers because I am about to collapse any second now. Good night, my love. I mean good morning. I mean proceed, do your thing. Plus. Something woke Elijah up at 5:47 a.m. on Sunday morning. He got up and ran to the meeting point previously decided with a TEF. He was exactly a 13-minute walk from the Church of the Archangel. He thanked the Lord again for these little mercies. He arrived and a TEF was standing outside, leaning on his taxi car with his arms crossed. He donned a big smile. Come, my friend. Come. We see the big saint. Elijah got into the car, looked at Baba Ratef, and fell asleep. He dreamt for 247 kilometers. He dreamt of a man wearing a handkerchief on his head with glowing hands welcoming him to the monastery. But instead of inviting him closer, he kept pointing away from himself. He kept directing Elijah to look outside of the monastery walls. Mister, my friend, we is here. Woke up. Plus. Elijah woke up with renewed energy. He was so excited to find Uncle Ansi. He had no idea how he was planning on finding him, but he was excited and anticipated help from above. He felt like everything in his life was being orchestrated. Just a few days ago, he was with Chief Billy, and now he was by the Red Sea at a monastery. Mind-boggling. His heart was ready. He held his hands together and bowed his head to a TEF in thanksgiving. A TEF had been God sent. He was the proof of God's love for him, very concretely in that particular moment. Thank you. You have no idea how thankful I am. He looked around. A TEF had pulled up to the outer wall of the monastery. A monk came to the taxi asking for a TEF's ID card in order to find out if he was Christian or not. A TEF showed him his tattoo. That was sufficient. The monk asked about Elijah. Elijah handed him his passport. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. You came all the way from Canada. You are welcome to Ambabola's monastery. Come in. Please come in. The monk's English was perfect. Elijah thought that strange, but he didn't think more about it. They drove into the monastery through what looked like an archway that must have been over 1,000 years old. In fact, this was one of the oldest Christian monasteries in the world. The beauty of the ancient walls, bleached by the sun, really affected Elijah so deeply. He took it all in. He had a really deep sense of peace. He could feel that holy men had lived here and had become earth in their pursuit of God. It was tangible. It is like everything emanated an unseen radiance that made every stone, every palm tree, and he was sure every monk in this monastery vibrated a frequency that was completely attuned to the love of God. Elijah, for the first time in decades, felt a sense of reverence and awe at his surroundings. He would almost even dare to describe it as fear. This was the temple of God. It was clear that God himself dwelt here. Emmanuel, God with us. If he felt such awe and fear at what he saw, what would he feel if his eyes were open to the heavenly beings surrounding this holy place, the cherubim and the seraphim carrying the throne of God? He closed his eyes, fearing lest the veil be removed and he would be overcome by the greatness of the vision. Woe is me, a man of unclean lips. Please be merciful to me, Lord." Eventually, he looked up and saw that Atef had stepped away and was speaking in an animated way with one of the monks. It seemed like the monk was shaking his head and saying no to him about something. Atef seemed to be getting agitated. He kept pointing to Elijah. Finally, the monk made a sign for him to wait. Atef seemed upset. After a few minutes, the monk came to Atef once again and shook his head. Atef walked up to Elijah and said to him, "I am sorry. I am very so sorry. The saints say he no see you. He say no. You leave outside. You leave the dare right away. I tell him, please let my Amriki friend come in. He say no way. The saints say no to you. He say to you go out. You no find what you want here. I want to cry. I am very so sorry." Elijah was devastated. The fear and awe turned into guilt and shame. He felt like the saint must have seen right through him. The saint must have seen how unworthy he was and that there was no place for him in this type of place. Elijah stared at Atef, not knowing what to say or where to go. That's it. He had to leave the monastery. He didn't even get a chance to ask about Uncle Ansi. He felt so deflated and so hurt. And yet, a voice in his head said to him, "Earth is nothing on its own. Earth only receives. And if Earth receives, Earth must give thanks for what it receives from the Creator." Elijah recognized the elder's voice. He thought of humble Pete, just sitting there, under the tree, listening. Elijah asked himself, how would Pete have responded to this situation? "Mama, how would you respond to this situation?" And more clearly than anything he had ever known, he felt like Mama would have simply obeyed. She would have simply obeyed and left the monastery. And so, Elijah followed his Mama. He bowed deeply to Atef and to the monk. He gave thanks one more time with hands held closely together, and he turned and started walking towards the beautiful archway. His head was down. He was looking at his feet. He felt ashamed. He felt rejected by his own. Yet he opened not his mouth. He was led out of the monastery feeling like a criminal. He finally reached the outer walls of the monastery. He stepped out and looked around. Where was he to go now? He had no idea where he was. Dejected, he sat with his back to the wall of the monastery. He placed his arms on his bent knees and buried his head into his arms. Elijah wept. "Oh, my sweet Elijah, don't cry. Abuna knew that I was not in the monastery. That is why he told you to wait for me outside. Now come, let me see your face, dear one." Elijah could not believe his ears, and he could not believe his eyes. There, in the flesh, stood before him a monk with a graying beard and a faded black cassock, whom he only recognized as Uncle Ansi because of his smile wrinkles. Elijah leapt into his arms, as a child would into his mother's embrace. He held on to Uncle Ansi, who had now become a Bunamina, and just wept. He wept out a year's worth of sorrow. He wept over Esther and his parents. He wept over the beautiful elder from his dream. He wept over himself. He had no control. He just melted in Abunamina's arms. All Abunamina did was whisper to him gently, "Oh, my sweet Elijah. Oh, my sweet Elijah, you're finally here. Oh, my sweet Elijah, you made it. Weep, my dear Elijah. Weep that you may become all water." And so ends the account of Earth.